failure to me is more about a perspective of which perspective you're taking. If you're speaking financially, a couple of those things definitely were failures. But if you're speaking on a creative level, 100% successes. Well, I don't know if eMobile would be considered a failure because to me, I successfully transported cell phone novels Celeste The World. So I guess in that sense, I don't consider that a failure. But monetarily speaking, it certainly didn't, pay anything for me bill-wise. However, I would say there have been a few books that I've put out, poetry books, for example, that didn't make me any money, and I'm okay with that because I just like the authors and I like their vision. Poetry is impossible to sell, so it was more because I just wanted to do something for that author because I like them so much. In that sense, monetarily speaking, not a good investment. But sometimes, like my heart, like I don't do things for money. I do it because I need to be creative or I need to support a creative vision. So failure to me is more about a perspective of which perspective you're taking. If you're speaking financially, a couple of those things definitely were failures. But if you're speaking on a creative level, 100% successes. So I'm trying to choose to look at it as more of a success that I've done everything. But yeah, I mean, I've had a few clunkers, sure. But I'm not saying my authors in terms of that. I mean, like a couple times I've tried to teach people coding and that hasn't gone well because the person just wasn't ready for it, or maybe I didn't have the patience for it. So like tutoring, for example, I started to realize like that's a great profession that I like and I very much want to be part of, but it doesn't pay in terms of the time you have to put into it and the money. Like why would I want to work for $20 an hour when I can do a website for $400 and make it in 3 hours? So it's just the time difference. If I'm valuing my time with money, it makes no sense to tutor somebody for 3 hours and only make $60. So in that sense, I've gone down those roads for a while and then realized I can make more money doing other stuff. And I only do those things if my eggs aren't hatching and I need other eggs to hatch, then I'll go to that. I think as an entrepreneur, you need to have the paradigm that everything you do can be successful. It just depends on how you're looking at it and what your goals and objectives are. I mean, if you're reaching too high and you're just being blind about that, then yeah, you're probably gonna fail in the sense you won't reach that goal. But if the journey to get there is awesome and it's fun and you make money or you're just having a good time, it's not a failure, even if you don't reach that goal. A good example for me would be, maybe going back to the app, I had wanted everybody to know eMobile. I wanted, a random stranger on the train to be reading cell phone novels using my app. Didn't happen, but I certainly have got amazing feedback from those that did use it and saying, thank you to me 100 times over to bringing something of Japanese culture into the Western world in a way that kind of diffuses maybe the difficulty of understanding the Japanese mind frame by making it very Americanized, which is what I did, And so in that sense, it's more about, I think, looking at failure as something you tell yourself when you just want to feel bad about what you've done. And I don't have time for that. What's the point? If you mess up, move on. If you keep dwelling on that mess up, you're never going to be able to mess up again or succeed again. And I always look at it like I have no time for it. My time is allotted to do all these things I want to do. I'm super passionate about everything I do. So the one thing I don't want to be passionate about is dwelling on what I didn't do right, because there's no point.